Storms on the way. Skies shifting. Time to get some work done before the weather makes the rules.
So, picking out the spot for the Airbnb was, I would say, not difficult, but it was trying to find the right exact location for it was the part that took a little time. I mean, that's it. We knew we wanted it in one certain area, but there's a lot of overgrowth. So in preparation for that, since it's a rainy day and there's stuff that I can't work on my trailer because I got to do some painting. Can't do that in the rain. I can cut the wood, which I can do that later in the garage, but to get what I need to get done, I might as well go ahead and start doing this now, getting this stuff cleared out in preparation for getting an Airbnb here. So this spot here is nice, right beside the pond. It's actually behind the pond. So there's a little bit of a buffer of trees. The pond's like right here, you can barely see it. So then we'll get some of that brush cleared out, and we'll have to cut some trees down. I'll do that later. But yeah, just getting all this stuff prepped and ready to actually be done and to be cleared for a 20-foot container Airbnb to be put in. I mean, there's a happy medium. So here, I forgot about this. So there's a happy medium, and I'm having to figure that and navigate this out. There's lists of things that my father wants done, all of which are non-income producing things for this land. And then there's things that need to be done so it can be income producing land. My task is, what I want to do is two different things. We need a combination of Airbnb tenant rentals, and then food sales and bread sales, and we'll have two locations for that, which is nice. So we'll have the little farmers market, farmers market thing going, but we got to find the happy medium between that. So I got to shuffle the things that matter to the things that my dad wants. And what my dad wants is not necessarily what doesn't matter. It just, for the grand scheme of things, for the time restraints that need to be done, it's not in the cards. So I do a little bit of what he wants, and then I do a lot of what I need to do. A little bit of what he wants and a lot of what I need to do. But one of those jobs is the fixing the driveway, which the pole pullers destroyed a good bit of, so I got to fix that.
It starts with a pencil and an idea. Lines on paper turning into walls, doors, and windows. Devin's not just sketching a rental, he's sketching possibility. A place for travelers, stories, and a little extra income to keep the dream moving forward. Every measurement's a step closer to something that doesn't exist yet, but soon will.
All the projects got to be done on the house. There's some that I just don't want to do, or stuff I don't like doing. One of these is fixing things that other people break and mess up. This one happens to be the driveway. So essentially, if you go down the driveway, you can't really see it right now. I'll get to a different angle, but if you're on the driveway, which needs a lot of work, you have this, hard to tell from this angle, but it goes and it dumps down and dumps up and dumps over. Part of that is because when the tree guys were here, they cleared this path so they can pull the trees to one area so they can do the work from one side to the other. And in doing so, they created a giant 2 divots, basically where their tires went and where the trees were drugged. So it pulled a lot of the gravel out, messed up the driveway in a sense. So that being said, it's all muddy, it's gross here, all the gravel's gone. I've got to go in and I need to put up a barrier. I need to put up some forms. So I'm gonna make it 10 feet wide So 10-foot wide forms. I've got to make it where I've got to dig some out where the dip is. I've got to actually I got to dig the corners out, make it level, put the forms in where it makes sense, and then where we can get some gravel brought in, which will probably be here tomorrow or the next day. Just get it prepped and ready for that, so this can be like it should, like it originally was. Actually, from this angle, can you see it? Yeah, you probably barely can see it, but see how it's higher over here, then it dips down, goes up a little bit, and it dips down again, and it's higher. That's what I gotta fix, because in a sense, it messes up. There's no reason to have a speed bump in the middle of a driveway. So I gotta fix this today, among all the other stuff that I gotta fix, but this is one thing I gotta fix.
Heavy equipment rolls through fast and leaves its mark. Ruts in the gravel, edges torn up, things pushed out of place. The loggers did what they came to do, but now it's Devin's turn to make it right. Shovel, rake, sweat, and time. It's the kind of work nobody notices when it's done well, but everybody feels when it's not. Because a driveway's more than dirt and stone, it's the path home. And around here, you take care of the road that takes care of you.
All right, done for now. Just gotta get the gravel in and get a tamper so we can tap it down, make sure it's in the ground tight. We're gonna drive over a bunch of times, but it'll disperse over time, and with runoff, I mean, I'll show you the runoff over time. I mean, we had a bunch of rain, and then with the pulp loaders coming in and them cutting what they did, all the water has diverted and changed over time. But here we go, one form in over here. It's ground level. I put dirt on both sides, on that side of it. Same thing with this one here, pretty much in the ground, and I put a bunch of dirt on the back side. You can see the difference between the height. I mean, it's pretty significant. But once that's all done, once we get all the gravel in, be all fine. I mean, once the gravel's in, it'll level it out, look better, and be actually a smoother ride, to be honest. So, but yeah, I just got to get this all harnessed in, and one of the many things you got to do. I mean, no one really tells you. I knew, but most people who don't know, when you have people come out and cut your trees, they do a mess of like crazy. It's a nasty, giant mess. I mean, you end up with piles of stuff like this everywhere. That's just the limbs that they don't take. So I've got to get a chipper, big commercial one, get it out here, and we'll start chipping all of these little limbs up and trees up, and whatever's firewood, whatever's decent size, at least this small, or actually this small, we'll cut that up for firewood, because one thing you run out of when your house is heated by fire is firewood. So we gotta have plenty of firewood. But overall, it's not bad. It looks good. It's what I needed. It's what I needed to take care of today. That is done. On to all the many other projects. Hopefully the gravel will be delivered tomorrow. If not, it'll be the next day. And then I sneaky suspicion that, where the pulp loaders were dragging all the trees back and forth across, that they busted the water line. Being that this house is not set up off grid, it is going on county water. I was right. So when they cleared this path here, and this path here is the reason I had to put these in, but they had dug down and dragged the trees across so much that it got too close to the water line, and that machinery is not light, nor those trees, and it put a lot of pressure on the water line and snapped it. So I get to spend time fixing this before the cold weather comes in. Now that the potting shed's gone, I've had to rethink this garden area. I have come to the decision. I know we're gonna put in a wattle fence. So we'll put a wattle fence around the property, around the garden area, which will actually be decent sized wattle fence. It will be high enough to deter the deer, but it won't necessarily keep them out because they can jump like 6 feet or 8 feet. I think an 8-foot fence is technically the height that it would take to keep a deer out. But we'll put that in, go around all the area. I'll put a couple gate spots in, and then So I was thinking, because of all the trees that the pole pullers have cut down, that gives us the wood and the resources to build the wattle fence. Pretty simple and easy. So wattle fence will go over here. All that stuff goes into the garage, and that wattle fence gets put in.
Current temperature is 43 degrees. That's its current temperature.
What are you supposed to get down to?
7 on Monday.
That's at night.
That's night. So we are heading in to go get gas for the chainsaw. Devin is going to be working with Ethan on cutting up wood for the fireplace. We have a lot of trees that are down on the property. So that's what they're going to be working on today, getting that stacked so we can stay nice and warm and not having crazy high power bill again for the second month in a row, because last month was ridiculous. We are hoping it doesn't hit, but this winter storm, they said it's going to just freeze everything.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know in the south. It could just change last minute, but it's better to be safe than sorry and have enough firewood and not freeze in the house. We do have heat, but it's a big house and we don't want to have a high power bill again, like I said.
$800.
Yeah, $800 last month, you guys. Yeah, that was kind of crazy. Anyway, that's what we're doing, getting things cleared and getting our fireplaces stacked.
There's an old rhythm to cutting firewood, one that hasn't changed in 100 years. Measure, cut, stack, split, repeat. It's not flashy work, no shortcuts, just steel, sweat, and a steady pace. Winter doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It shows up when it wants. So days like this, days spent stacking wood higher than you think you'll need, they're about respect. Respect for the cold, respect for the season. Because firewood isn't just fuel, it's security, it's warmth. It's knowing your family stays comfortable when the wind starts howling and the power lines start shaking. Every log holds a little insurance policy inside it. And there's something grounding about it, splitting wood, the sound of the axe landing clean, the crack running straight through the grain, the pieces falling apart exactly how they're supposed to. Honest work with honest results. No emails, no noise, just effort and outcome. Stack by stack, the pile grows. Quiet proof that preparation beats panic every time. This is how people used to live. Thinking ahead, working with their hands, getting ready before the storm instead of scrambling during it. Out here, you don't wait for comfort, you build it. And when the clouds finally roll in and the temperature drops, that stack of wood by the house says something simple and steady. We're ready. Because sometimes the best feeling in the world isn't excitement or adventure. It's knowing you did the work before you had to.